Hi, in this video we are going to introduce key events. So key events occur when there's some input from the user on the keyboard, maybe pressing a letter key or pressing an arrow key or the space bar. And we have a few functions that we can use to respond to these key events. Similar to mouse events, these use callback functions. So we have a method we can use called key down method, which takes a callback, key up method, which takes a callback, and isKeyPress, which takes a key code. So the way we use the isKeyDown method is we say, okay, whenever there's any key hit down, call our callback function. And then there's the second part, which is detecting which key is pressed. So there's some event called E that comes in as a parameter, and E has a key code, which tells us which key is pressed, and we can use special constants like keyboard.left, right, up, down, and we can use a few methods like keyboard.letter or keyboard.digit to figure out what key was pressed. So this is a lot of information at once, but let's go into our code editor and see how this looks in an example. So what we're going to do here is create a square that is controlled by moving some keys. So I'll say var square, and the reason it's a global variable is because it needs to be accessed between methods. And I'll say square equals new rectangle 40, 40. And then I'll say square dot set position 100, 100. Then add square. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Okay, so we just have a square on the screen. Now what I want to do is I want to respond when the key is pressed down. So I'll say key down method, and we'll make our callback called key down. So now we have to define the key down method. So remember that takes parameter E, which has information about the event. And so what we want to do is if the left arrow key is pressed, we want to move the square to the left, and if the right arrow key is pressed, we want to move the square to the right. So we say if E dot keycode is equal to keyboard dot left, then square dot move, well, we want to move in the negative x direction, so we'll say -5 but 0 in the y. So let's run this. Okay, and if I hit the left arrow key, we see the square moves, but nothing else happens with any other keys. So let's try this again. If e.keycode equals keyboard.right, then we'll say square.move 5, 0. So now I'm using the keys to move our square. And now I'm going to show one more example, which is how we would maybe test if a letter key was pressed. And I'll say if e.keycode oops, let me stop this program, equals keyboard.letter, and let's say K, then what I want to do if K is pressed is I want to move the square up. So I'll say square.move, well, 0 in the x direction and then -5 in the y direction. And then I want to say if e.keycode is equal to keyboard.letter J, then I'll move the square down. So let's run this program. Okay, so if I use the arrow keys, we can still move left and right. And if I use the J key, we move down. If I use the K key, we move up. So this is an example of how we can respond to key events from the user.